Welcome to the AI Queens podcast, the show where women entrepreneurs learn to ditch the overwhelm, embrace AI, and build businesses fit for royalty. I'm Erica Stanley, your host and tech expert, here to deliver tools, tips, and actionable strategies to help you scale smarter. Let's get to it.
A few months ago, I was reviewing my VA's tasks, and I realized that AI was handling over half of what I had initially hired her to do. It was helping me organize my inbox, drafting emails, and streamlining my client onboarding process. And I started to wonder, am I being a responsible leader? Am I setting her up for success or slowly making her role obsolete? Here's what I discovered. The question isn't whether AI will replace your team. The question is, how can you use AI to make your team unstoppable? I'm Erica Stanley, and today on the AI Queens podcast, I'm sharing exactly how to use AI as a leadership tool that elevates your team rather than replaces them. You're going to learn 3 specific strategies: creating AI-enhanced SOPs, improving team communication with AI coaching, and future-proofing your team's skills, all while being the kind of value-based leader your business deserves. This isn't about replacing humans with AI. It's about becoming the kind of leader who uses every tool available to help your team thrive. So let's start with some real numbers and ethical considerations that are close to my heart. The Philippines is the leading country for virtual assistant outsourcing, with approximately 1.5 million Filipino virtual assistants serving international clients all across the globe. What's particularly striking is that 83 to 90% of these roles are filled by women. These aren't just statistics, these are real people with real careers that deserve our consideration as leaders. Meanwhile, experts predict that by 2026, AI will automate approximately 35 to 40% of traditional VA tasks. Those are things like basic email management, calendar scheduling, and data entry. I actually used Perplexity to research these numbers, asking it to find the most recent statistics on overseas VAs and AI automation predictions. This is a perfect example of using AI as a research assistant, which I talked about just a few episodes back. But I digress. These numbers represent more than just a basic workforce. They're a significant economic pillar for the Philippines. This industry has become a crucial source of income for a ton of families and communities. And so when we talk about replacing VAs with AI, we're not just discussing abstract business decisions that don't impact anybody. We're talking about potentially disrupting the livelihoods of millions of women who support their families and their communities. This hits close to home for me because my own VA lives in the Philippines. So I can't talk about AI replacing roles without addressing the ethics and the broader implications of these decisions. When I look at the incredible work that she does and the relationship that we've built, I'm reminded that behind every automation decision is a real person with real economic needs. Just last week, she shared something with me that made me smile. She told me that she recently used ChatGPT with her son to plan their upcoming trip to Japan. They sat together, explored different activities and attractions that they're both going to enjoy. And she said that they loved the whole planning process. It became a fun bonding experience for them. She's not just using AI for work, she's incorporating into her personal life in ways that bring her joy and connection. So, as women entrepreneurs, we have a unique opportunity and I believe a responsibility to approach AI implementation differently. Instead of wholesale replacement, we can create a model where technology and human talent complement each other. This means actively teaching AI skills to our team members and helping them future proof their careers. Now, before we dive into specific strategies, I want to highlight something crucial. Your brand values should guide how you implement AI with your team. I recently attended a conference out in Palm Springs where AI was definitely on everyone's minds. It was a super hot topic of conversation. What fascinated me most was seeing the difference in the schools of thought. Some people were not excited about AI at all. They viewed it with suspicion or fear. But among those who were super enthusiastic, there was a definite divide in their approach to AI. You had one group who was super excited about AI because it was going to help them be more efficient, produce more content, and essentially to hustle harder. Go, 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 get more done. I love those people. I am one of those people sometimes. And it was cool seeing their eyes light up when they talked about how they could double their output and scale even faster. Then there was this presenter, Molly. You can find her at molly.ballant on Instagram. I'll put that in the show notes. She was there as an ambassador for Adobe Acrobat's AI assistant, and she talked about her soft business approach. Now, you don't really think about AI and a soft business as going together, but her whole talk was about using AI to cut down on tedious tasks, streamline workflows, and make things easier for her and her team. For Molly, it wasn't about hustle at all. It was about creating a business that feels soft and manageable, one that allows her the freedom to be out on her farm and spending more time with her family. The main difference between these two schools of thought comes down to brand values and what's important to you and what chapter you're in your business. You can use AI to move as fast as you can possibly go, constantly pushing for more output and more growth. Or you can use AI to settle into your business with ease and create space for the things that truly matter to you. Your business isn't just what clients see on the outside, it's about how you operate internally. When your AI implementation aligns with your brand values, the team feels it, and your business is going to thrive as a result. Now, let's get to our first practical strategy, creating AI-enhanced SOPs. The first way most of us start delegating as our business starts to grow is with standard operating procedures or SOPs. Let me share how I've evolved this process over time using AI as a leadership tool. When I first hired my VA, very first thing I delegated was my client onboarding process. And this involved manually entering in client information into Dubsado, which is my client management tool that I use right now. We would put in the contact details, project specifics, contract terms, payment schedules, all of that. And then I would trigger an automated workflow to send out their proposal, contract, invoicing, all of that. Initially, when I outsourced this, I created a manual SOP document for my VA. So those were all of the steps and processes for her to follow, step by agonizing step. I transferred this manual work from me to her. That's not leadership, that's just delegation. Here's how the two of us transformed this process with AI. First, we created a custom GPT specifically for this process. We uploaded a Google Doc template that I created with headings and blank spaces for all of the client information. And then that GPT can help us extract key information from all of the client documents that I was gathering, emails, strategies, and then it formats it perfectly for Dubsado and for all of those documents that we're automatically sending to clients. I also uploaded examples of completed templates so that the GPT understood what good looks like. This saves my VA significant time and reduces errors, getting contracts and invoices to clients so much faster. Now, for tasks that require more visual instruction, I use two key tools. First, I use Loom for video documentation. I record myself performing the task while explaining the process in a whole screen share. Second, I use Scribe for click by click documentation. This is a Chrome plugin that's going to map every single cursor movement and click that you make as you perform a task, and it will automatically create a visual SOP step by step document without me writing a single instruction. And my VA and I have been collecting these Loom videos and these Scribe documentations over time and put them into a spreadsheet. And the result of this is that she's able to complete a lot of these tasks in half the time now with greater accuracy. It's taking it off of my plate and it's allowing her to feel more confident in her role. She's coming back to me with fewer questions. More importantly, we're creating a system that's not just going to benefit her, it's creating institutional knowledge that remains even if team members change, or if her role with my organization changes, and then we have to hire another VA to take over her role. So it's a win win for everybody. Now, let me share a real world example of how this works. One of my clients, a coach who came to me for a brand to bot blueprint session, was struggling to consistently create content for her coaching business while also promoting her newly published book and managing her VA. During our 90-minute session, I was able to dig in and get all of the information I needed to create a custom brand bot for her. We designed it specifically to reflect her unique methodology and her voice. But the real magic happened when we uploaded the digital version of her book, creating an incredible resource within that brand bot so that it contained all of her intellectual property and teaching frameworks. Side note on this, as I was creating the bot, I had the little toggle in ChatGPT turned off. So I know that we're not using her book to train the model. So it stays her intellectual property as long as that toggle is off. That's just a little note there. Now, both she and her VA have access to the spot. She uses it to quickly create lead magnets and client workbooks that perfectly align with her methodology. Meanwhile, her VA is using the same bot to generate Instagram content ideas, carousel concepts, and captions that sound authentically like her. What's totally fascinating is how this has transformed their working relationship. Instead of my client spending hours explaining her concepts to her VA or meticulously reviewing content for accuracy, going back and forth, edits, now her VA has direct access to her expertise through this bot. It's freeing up my client to focus on high value coaching sessions, while her VA has become more autonomous and confident in creating perfectly aligned content. The measurable results of this: she's creating content in half the time, but her engagement rates have actually improved. And she's saving hours each week that she's now able to dedicate to money making client sessions and promoting sales of her book. The success of this client case study highlights something I'm deeply passionate about. Technology works best when it enhances human potential rather than replacing it. Her VA did not become less valuable when AI entered the picture. She became more strategic, more creative, and more connected to the core of her business. Now, this brings me to what I believe is the most important aspect of AI implementation with your team: the human element. As business owners, I believe we have a responsibility that goes beyond just implementing with tools. We need to be actively teaching the humans on our teams how to leverage these tools effectively, not just for our benefit and for the benefit of our business, but for their own professional development. When I introduced my VA to custom GPTs, I didn't just hand over the login credentials. I created training sessions where we explored the tools together, discussed how they worked, their limitations, and how to get the best results. I showed her how these skills were going to make her more valuable, not just to me, but to any future employer. What's been most rewarding is seeing how she's evolved from being simply curious about AI to becoming what I call an AI orchestrator, someone who knows exactly which tool to go to for which task, how to prompt effectively, and most importantly, when the human touch is irreplaceable. And she's actually coming to me on our calls with ideas for which tool she should be using and how we can use it even better. It's been so cool. Now, she's not using AI to draft every single client interaction, but she does use it to help repurpose content for me for TikTok and Pinterest. She's able to take these exact podcast episodes actually and take the transcript and repurpose them. So if you see them on TikTok, if you see them out there in the world, those mostly have come from her. And she's able to do it in my voice, but she adds personal touches that make it feel human. She's also using automations and workflows to help get that client onboarding process more and more dialed in a little bit every time. It used to be just me and then me plus some automations. Then it's her. Now it's her plus automations plus AI, and it's working really smoothly. This is the future of work. Not humans versus AI, but humans elevated by AI and improving our processes with AI. I feel like as leaders, it's our job to facilitate this transition in a way that's going to empower our team rather than threatening or replacing them. Our third and final strategy is using AI as your leadership coach to improve how you communicate with your team. Let me share a specific example. I work with a designer named Pam who helps me with the designs for some of my larger clients. As part of my process, after my 90-minute Brand Explorer interviews, I also create what I call a North Star brief, which is a distilled version of my findings that help to guide the design direction. It's like a design creative brief for my designer. And I've had designers in the past who have told me that these briefs are exceptional, but I wanted to make sure that they were really comprehensive and that I'm giving Pam exactly what she needs. So I approached this as an AI leadership opportunity. If we go back to last week's episode, I really had to ask myself, how can AI make this better? So, what I did was I put this brief into Claude and I asked, you are my lead designer with 15 years of experience in branding and visual identity. Review this North Star brief that I've created for a client project. What information is missing that would help you create the best possible work? Be specific about what additional details would help you understand the client's needs, audience, and visual preferences better. Focus on identifying gaps that might cause revisions or misalignment later. So, see what I did there? I'm using the AI as the expert to help me be able to close those gaps and better communicate with my team. And in this case, the AI identified three specific elements that I had not included in the North Star brief, but were easily pulled from my big Brand Explorer strategy, things that were super relevant to a designer that I had just overlooked. Because I've been a solopreneur since I launched my business and I was doing all of this myself. I didn't even think about it. It was a blind spot that AI helped me uncover. Before, I got back less than stellar results from my designer, and then I'd have to give feedback. We'd go back and forth. It'd be this whole thing. And this little adjustment was exactly what we needed. And in this case, she gave me really great results right out of the gate. Now, this 100% is not about replacing my designer, obviously, but I was able to use AI to help me communicate more effectively with her. You can apply the same approach to any team role. For example, you've got a social media manager. You could say, you're my experienced social media manager. Based on these content ideas and the brand guidelines I've given you, what additional information do you need to create super impactful, engaging, and high performing content? Whatever those goals are that you have for your social media manager. Obviously, you're going to make this custom for you. Now, if you've got a VA who's taking on a new task, you could say, you're my detail oriented and super experienced VA. What questions would you have before taking over this process? Now, this approach is going to transform AI from a replacement threat to your team into a leadership improvement tool for you. You're using AI to identify your own blind spots as a leader before they impact your team's performance, which I feel like is kind of cool. All of that goes to say, future of leadership. It's not about choosing between AI or human team members. It's about creating an environment where AI enhances our human potential, not threatening it. To wrap this up, the future of leadership, I don't feel like it's choosing between AI or human team members. And we're obviously not going to completely replace our entire workforce with AI. It's really going to be about creating an environment where AI can help improve our human potential rather than threatening it. But as leaders, I feel like we've all got a responsibility to use AI to make our team's work more meaningful, not just more efficient. Second, to openly discuss AI implementation rather than just introducing it behind the scenes or being super sneaky about it. And then finally, to invest in our team's AI literacy so that they are going to remain valuable in this evolving workplace and marketplace. And I mean, gosh, like everything changing about the world. All right, now let's recap the three key strategies we covered today. Number one, create AI enhanced SOPs that save time while building institutional knowledge. Number two, focus on the human element by training your team to become AI orchestrators. And third, don't forget to use AI as your leadership coach to help you identify blind spots in your own communication. Now, if you found this approach to ethical AI leadership valuable, my brand to bot blueprint is an awesome next step. In this 90-minute session, we're going to create a custom AI implementation plan that will reflect your leadership philosophy and set your team up for long-term success. At the end of this process, you're going to walk away with your own custom brand bot. It's a super powerful tool that contains your expertise and can be used by both you and your team to create consistent, aligned content. I only take 3 brand to bot blueprint clients each month, and spots fill up super fast. So visit ericastanley.com/blueprint. That's Erica with a K, ericastanley.com/blueprint to secure your spot and transform how you and your team can leverage AI in your business. Remember, best leaders don't just adopt new technologies, they use them to bring out the best in all of their people. Until next time, keep reigning with AI.
Thanks for listening to the AI Queens podcast. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow queen who needs to hear this. Want more tips and tools? Join the AI Queens Society at aiqueenssociety.com and start ruling your business with confidence today. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep reigning with AI.